The first few months after 9/11, the FBI is generally in charge of captured Al Qaeda detainees, and the assumption is that these detainees will be sent to the United States for criminal prosecutions. However, beginning in January of 2002, this policy begins to change. The highest ranking Al Qaeda detainee in U.S. custody at the time, Ibn al Sheikh al Libi, was transferred from FBI to CIA custody and then flown to Egypt to be tortured by the Egyptian government. Also in January, the CIA, not the FBI, begins secretly flying detainees to the U.S.-controlled prison in Guantanamo, Cuba. Journalist James Risen would later comment, by choosing the CIA over the FBI, President Bush was rejecting the law enforcement approach to fighting terrorism that had been favored during the Clinton era. Bush had decided that Al Qaeda was a national security threat, not a law enforcement threat, and he did not want Al Qaeda operatives brought back to face trial in the United States, where they would come under strict rules of the American legal system. This change of policy culminates in the arrest of Abu Zubaydah. The Washington Post will later report that in March of 2002, Abu Zubaydah was captured, and the interrogation debate between the CIA and the FBI began anew. This time, when FBI Director Robert Mueller decided to withhold FBI involvement, it was a signal that the tug of war was over. Once the CIA was given the green light, they had the lead role. The CIA decides that Guantanamo is too public and involves too many U.S. agencies to hold important Al Qaeda detainees. By the time Zubaydah is captured, the CIA has already set up a secret prison in Thailand, and Zubaydah is flown there just days after his capture. James Risen also will comment that the CIA wanted secret locations where it could have complete control over the interrogation and debriefings, free from the prying eyes of the international media, free from monitoring by human rights groups, and most important, far from the jurisdiction of the American legal system. On February 7, 2002, the White House declares that the United States will apply the Geneva Conventions to the conflict in Afghanistan, but will not grant prisoner of war status to captured Taliban and Al Qaeda fighters. Though Afghanistan was party to the 1949 treaty, Taliban fighters are not protected by the conventions, the directive says, because the Taliban is not recognized by the United States as Afghanistan's legitimate government. Likewise, Al Qaeda fighters are not eligible to be protected under the treaty's provisions because they do not represent a state that is party to the conventions either. Presidential directive is apparently based on Alberto Gonzalez's January 25th memo. The directive also concludes that President Bush, as Commander-in-Chief of the United States, has the authority to suspend the Geneva Conventions regarding the conflict in Afghanistan should he feel necessary. Though not scheduled for declassification until 2012, the directive will be released by the White House in June 2004 to demonstrate that the president never authorized torture against detainees from the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq.